राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class on the special occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, entitled as Dhritarashtra Quits Home, text number 16. Yudhishthiro labdharajyo, Yudhishthiro labdharajyo, दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलंदरं, दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलंदरं, भ्रातृभिर्लोकपालाभिर् मुमुदे परया श्रिया, मुमुदे परया स्त्रिया युधिष्ठिरो लब्धराज्यो दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलंदरं भ्रातृभिर्लोकपालाभिः मुमुदे परया स्त्रिया युधिष्ठिरो लब्धराज्यो दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलंदरं भ्रातृभिर्लोकपालाभिः मुमुडे परया श्रिया युधिष्ठिरो लब्धराज्यो दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलंदरं भ्रातृभिर्लोकपालाभिः मुमुदे परया श्रिया युधिष्ठिरो लब्धराज्यो दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलंदरं भ्रातृभिर्लोकपालाभिः मुमुदे परया श्रिया. Mataji's? Okay. लब्धराज्यो दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलंदरं भ्रातृभिर्लोकपालाभिः मुमुदे परया श्रिया. Word to word translation. Yudhishthira Labdharajya, possessing his parental kingdom. Drishtva, by seeing. Pautram, the grandson. Kulandaram, just suitable for the dynasty. Bhratrubhi, by the brothers. Lokapalabhai, who were all expert administrators. Mumude, enjoyed life. Paraya, uncommon. Striya, opulence. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Having won his kingdom and observed the birth of one grandson, competent to continue the noble tradition of his family, Maharaja Yudhishthira reigned peacefully and enjoyed uncommon opulence in cooperation with his younger brothers, who are all expert administrators to the common people. Purport. Both Maharaj Yudhishthira and Arjuna were unhappy from the very beginning of the battle of Kurukshetra. But even though they were unwilling to kill their own men in the fight, it had to be done as a matter of duty, for it was planned by the supreme will of Lord Sri Krishna. After the battle, Maharaj Yudhishthira was unhappy over such mass killing. Practically, there was none to continue the Kuru dynasty after them, after the Pandavas. The only remaining hope was the child in the womb of his daughter-in-law, Uttara. And he was also attacked by Ashwatthama. But by the grace of the Lord, the child was saved. So, after the settlement of all the disturbing conditions and re-establishment of the peaceful order of the state, and after seeing the surviving child, Parikshit, well satisfied. After seeing the surviving child, Parikshit, Yudhishthira Maharaj was well satisfied. Maharaj Yudhishthira felt some relief as a human being, although he had very little attraction for the material happiness, which is always illusory and temporary. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते उपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. I sincerely beg apologies for sitting here and from the core of my heart I am seeking blessings and prayers from all of you so that I can speak few words from Srimad Bhagavatam which will be meaningful, which will purify me and which will be helpful to all of you. So today we are reading from first canto, chapter 13, text number 16, wherein Sutta Goswami describing about the conditions in which Yudhishthira Maharaj is staying in Hastinapur when Vidura returned to Hastinapur. Yudhishthiro labdharajyo drishtva pautram kulandaram bhratribhir lokapalabair mumude paraya striya. A king generally will be happy when he has two things. There are no enemies who constantly disturb him and there is a heir apparent, the future generation who can carry this legacy. So Mahabharata battle was over. So in one sense all the enemies are evaporated. They are eradicated from the surface of the earth. Now there are no rivalry from Yudhishthira Maharaj. And Parikshit Maharaj as a bona fide future king. So with these two things, Yudhishthira Maharaj is very happy. So that is what is being presented in today's verse. So, but anyway, since the chapter is all about Dhritarashtra quits home, so we'll taking that theme into consideration, we'll try to present some important connections to this chapter from various places of the Bhagavatam. So, in 6th canto, in the beginning chapters, when the Yamadutas tries to take the soul of Ajamila, the Vishnutas come and stop them. What are you doing? What kind of adharma are you doing? You cannot take Ajamila, for he chanted the name of Narayana, name of Lord Vishnu. So there was some argument based on logic and reasoning. Somehow or other, the Yamadutas were defeated by Vishnudutas. Immediately they went to Yamaloka. They reported all that happened to Yamaraj. And also they complained. So my dear Yamaraj, we knew that you are the one and only master. Under your control, all the devatas, then what to speak of the human beings and other living entities are performing their activities. You are the judge determining what they are supposed to get at the end. But who are these people bright looking people came and they disobeyed your order. They did not allow us to bring Ajamila here. Who are they? So they questioned Yamaraj. Then Yamaraj replied that, so my dear foolish servants, you may think that I am the master of the entire world, but I am not the master. There is another master who is known as Lord Vishnu. He is not only master of me, he is the master of Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, Ganesh, everyone, all the devatas. Then Yamuduta says that, no, we are not, okay, let him be the master, but who are those 4 people who came to stop us? Then Yamara said that the 4 people are the servants of that Supreme Lord Vishnu. And even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, all the devatas along with me, all of us simply controlled by the supreme will of the Supreme Lord. Though he is controlling us, we do not know about him completely. And that Lord's servants are glorified by everyone in this world. And how can you start complaining about them? You are actually performing an offense against them. Don't think that they are ordinary people. They are always wandering, protecting the devotees of the Supreme Lord. Whenever the devotees are in trouble, the Vishnudutas will come and rescue them from the trouble. Don't think that they are ordinary people and they are under my subjugation. Even I am under the subjugation of Lord Vishnu and they are Lord Vishnu's own men. How can we under their control? Then they said that, then they talked about so much about dharma, this and all. They talked about you people are performing adharma. Then we thought that Ajamila is adharmi, he is performing so many sinful activities. And they told us taking Ajamila to Naraka is adharma. What is this? Then Yamara says that, so my dear Yamadutas, dharma is actually what has been established by the Supreme Lord. It is very difficult to understand even for Brahma and Shiva also. Then what to speak of us? What dharma we know is only limited. The essence of true dharma is it cannot be understood by even Brahma, Shiva and all. How Lord acts, what he does, how he does, no one knows. Then Yamuduta's question, do you mean that there is no dharma only? If no one can understand dharma, then dharma should not be existing. Then Yamara said that it is not like that. Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu. Like there are 12 Mahajanas who knew about dharma. Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Kumaro, Kapilo, Manu. Pralado, Janako, Bhishma, Balir, Vayasaki, Vayam. These are the 12 Mahajanas who understand the nuance of dharma according to their capacity. If at all you want to know dharma, you should go to them. But even they also do not explicitly say about it for the mass of people. Because Dwadashaite Vijanimo Dharmam Bhagavata Bhata. My dear Rama Bhattas, only these 12 people know about Bhagavad Dharma. And they don't explain it very explicitly because Guhyam. This Bhagavad Dharma is supposed to be kept as the very high secret. As Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitra Midamotmam. And then at the end he says that Idam Tute Guhyadmam Parvakshami Anusuyave. I have spoken so many things, but now I am going to speak to you the most secret knowledge, that is Bhagavad Dharma. And that is supposed to be kept as secret. Why? Vishuddham. It is the most pure thing. It cannot be given to anyone and everyone. Why? What is the problem giving it to anyone and everyone? Dhurubodham. It cannot be understood by anyone and everyone. Because Bhagavad Dharma is situated in pure goodness. Only a person who comes near to pure goodness can understand it, can comprehend it. Others cannot understand it. That's why it is not given to anyone and everyone. But where we can find it? Mahajano Yamaraja Panta. The nuance of Dharma can be understood only when we follow the footsteps of Mahajanas. Here Yamaraj lists 12 Mahajanas. Swayambhu, Lord Brahma. Narada, Narada Muni. Shambhu, Lord Shiva. Kumara, the 4 Kumaras. Kapila, Lord Kapila. Manu, the Swayambhu Manu, the first Manu. Prahlada, Prahlad Maharaj. Janaka, Janak Maharaj, the father of Mother Sita. Bhishma, Mahabharat, we know him. And then Bali, Bali Maharaj. Vayasaki, Srila Sukadev Goswami. And Vayam means me. Yamaraja is speaking me. So in that way, if at all one wants to know about Bhagavad Dharma, one need to approach one of these 12 Mahajanas. Approach means hear their instructions, observe their life activities. How do they lead their life? That will indicate what is Bhagavad Dharma, how to practice Bhagavad Dharma. So, one among the 12 Mahajanas is Yamaraj, who is himself is speaking here. So, let us try to understand about that Yamaraj. How did he teach Bhagavad Dharma? By his personal teachings and by his personal behavior and activities, etc. So for that, let us try to see little bit from Mahabharata. Since today is Ganesh Chaturthi, Lord Ganesh also has close connection with Mahabharata. So even Bhagavatam also we see about so many personalities perform austerities for so many weird reasons. Many demons are being talked about in the Bhagavatam. They perform severe austerities, try to get a boon in such a way that they want to become immortal. Understanding that if they ask Brahma that we want to become immortal, Brahma might say that I am myself not immortal, how can I give you immortality? Then they put so many conditions. I should not die like this, I should not die like this, I should not die like this, like Hiranyakashipu and many other demons we see in the Bhagavatam, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, etc. Like that, there was one demon, Mushikasura. He also put so many conditions. I should not die like this, I should not die like this. His condition is, my dear Brahma, I should neither die by you or anyone created by you. According to Mushikasura, Vishnu is in Yoga Nidra, hiding in the heart of all the living entities, and everyone else in the universe is creation of Brahma only. So I can escape death. So he asked that boon. And then he also said that even if at all somebody is there who is not creation of Brahma, then I should not die by a live weapon or dead weapon. So then the entire story unfolds. Then eventually he was troubling the Devatas and the sages. They approached Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati. And then eventually, through Mother Parvati, the Ganesh appeared. Ganesh is not a creation of Brahma. As the story goes, Mother Parvati, one day when she was about to take bath, that powder was there. Using that powder, she created a form, like a small boy-looking form. Then she invoked a soul into that form. She herself invoked the presence of a soul. So this Jiva is not creation of Brahma. The body of this Jiva is not created by Brahma. All our bodies, in one sense, were created by Brahma. The bodies of the Devatas, great sages, Asuras, Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, human beings, animals, plants, everything is created by Brahma originally. We are simply continuing the legacy. But for the first time in the creation, Ganeshji's body was created by Mother Parvati herself. And he was invoked by herself. He was not at all a creation of Brahma. So, and then eventually the story unfolds. He appeared to kill that Mushikasura woman. So in order to kill that, he uses his own teeth. Later on, Lord Shiva changes the head. The boy-like head has been replaced by the elephant head, which has 2 teeth. Using the 1 teeth only kills that demon, because he has another condition that I should not be killed by live weapon or dead weapon. So this is one of the purposes with which Lord Ganesh appeared. The second purpose, there was a competition between Kartikeya, his younger brother, and Ganesh. Like who will become the commander-in-chief of the Devatas army. The Devatas themselves have a big army. There should be a commander-in-chief. So, because since Ganeshji, the eldest son, is supposed to be the commander-in-chief. But Kartikeya said, I want to become. So there is a competition between them. Though Ganeshji won over the competition, he gave it to his younger brother, Kartikeya. Thus Kartikeya became the commander-in-chief of the Devatas army. That was the second important duty that Ganesh performed. The third important duty that Ganesh performed was he assisted Vyasadeva compiling Mahabharata. So he helped Vyasadeva compiling Mahabharata over many days, many weeks, many months. Even it says Mahabharata says that it went on for many years, the entire compilation of Mahabharata. So from that Mahabharata, let us try to see few things in relation to one of the 12 Mahajanas, that is our Yamaraj. So how he kind of propagated the Bhagavad Dharma by his personal life and personal character. So the story goes in the story begins in the Mahabharata that Satyavati, after marrying Shantanu, she gave birth to 2 children. Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. When both were in Gurukul studying, their father understood that enough is enough, I am done with my activities here, I am leaving. He left his body. Shantanu Maharaj left his body even while his 2 sons were studying in Gurukul. Eventually they came back. Chitrangada was made the king, even though he was not married. So one day he went to the forest for hunting. One Gandharva, whose name is like Chitrangada, same Chitrangada. So that Chitrangada came and said that, you are so glorious, your glories are sung in Gandharva Loka also. I want to understand who is superior among both of us. So whether I am superior or you are superior. There was a fight between them. The Gandharva Chitrangada killed the prince Chitrangada. So he died. The youngest son, Vichitravirya, was made king. He eventually married Ambika and Ambalika. Before he could beget a child, so that the child can continue the legacy of the kingdom, he also died. There was no one to continue the kingdom. Understanding the predicament, Satyavati called Srila Vyasadeva, her son, who is none other than Supreme Lord Sri Vishnu, in order to beget children through the widowed daughter-in-laws. So, by the request of Satyavati, Vyasadeva told that, no problem, I will beget children through them, but they need to perform austerities for 1 year. Then Satyavati said that, no, we don't have that much time. There was no king on the throne. Without king, the kingdom cannot continue. You should beget immediately the children. Then he said, okay, no problem. Tonight, you send the queen. So in the night, Satyavati informed Ambika, the eldest queen, that you need to beget a child who will inherit the kingdom. So in the inner chambers, when she saw Vyasadeva, who directly came from Himalayas, who was performing austerity, his whole body was filled with lot of dust, filled with lot of hair, he was looking very weird, very fearful. As soon as she looked at him, she closed her eyes. And then, just by the glance, Srila Vyasadeva impregnated her, and the next day, the child was born. In the case of Devatas, the childbirth happens instantly. That is called Sadhyo Garbha. They don't have to wait for 9 months of the pregnancy period, etc. And even after the birth happened, the children no need to be taken care by the parents to grow gradually. In one muhurta, child is born. In another muhurta, child becomes teenager, youthful. This is the way that birth takes place in Devatas. So here, but there is a condition. If both father and mother are Devatas, it is like that. If the one of the two is different category, then things will be different. If the father is of the Devata category, mother is of the human category, the child birth takes place instantly, and child upbringing will happen as the human beings, as in the case of human beings. Here, Vyasadeva is like the category of the Devatas. The child birth took place instantly. Just by his glance, he impregnated her, and the child is born. But Vyasadeva informed his mother, Satyavati, that, so my dear mother, since Ambika closed her eyes in my presence, the child will be born physically and spiritually also. Then she said, then he cannot be a king. Then you should beget child through the other daughter-in-law next day. So next night, she informed all the things to Ambalika. So Ambalika went. And then when she came in the presence of Vyasdev, looking at Vyasdev's fearful, fear-invoking form, she became very much pale. She did not close her eyes because mother-in-law already told, don't do such kind of mistakes. But she became pale. Then she begot a son, eventually, by the glance of Vyasdev. The next morning, Vyasdev informed his mother, Satyavati, that her son will be the most valiant person, the most intelligent person, most devoted person, but his appearance will be pale. His appearance may not be so attractive. Then Satyavati said that also a problem for a child. You please beget one more child through the first daughter-in-law. Then Vyasdev says, okay. That day, Ambika did not go. She sent her maid servant. But she served Vyasdev very nicely. She heard and understood the greatness of Vyasdev. She did not have any inhibitions. She did not have any, any fear by looking at the fear-invoking form of Vyasdev. So as a result of that, she gave birth to Vidura. Then Vyasdev informed his mother Satyavati that this child, though your daughter-in-law did not come, instead she has sent her maid servant, but the child will be very valorous, very knowledgeable, and highly spiritual minded. And his name should be Vidura, because Vidyayam Rata, he will take pleasure in constant study. He always want to learn something new and new. That's why his name should be Vidura. So then Satyavati again asks, though he has all the good qualities to become a king, but he is born from a maid servant, he cannot be the king. Please beget one more child the next day. Then Vyasdev said that blessings should be given or asked only for 3 times, not more than that. 3 times already over. Now I am not obliged to do any favor for you. I am done. I am going. Shri Vyasdev disappears. The 3 children were very nicely taken care by Satyavati in their childhood. And then eventually they are given primary education by Krupacharya. Then later on they were sent to Badrikashram. They were given all the education by Vyasdev personally. Eventually, Bhishma personally taught them about the archery. All the 3 became very valiant archers. So then, their education is completed. They came back. Even though everyone knew externally that Dhritarashtra will not become king, but Dhritarashtra had the inner desire that I am the eldest one, I am supposed to be the king, because I know everything. I know Vedas, I know the archery, everything, whatever you could learn. I am expert in every field. Just because I don't have eyes, no one can say that I am not the king, etc., etc. So, but on the day of that designation, the giving them the responsibilities, Satyavati said, Dhritarashtra cannot become the king. Pandu should be the king. And Vidura also cannot become the king. But since Vidura is expert in all things, especially in the matter of dharma, he should be the minister. Then Vidura also echoed with the voice of Satyavati saying that Dhritarashtra should not be the king. Instead, Pandu should be the king. Till now, all these years, since the time of their birth, Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidura were like thick friends. They were like close brothers. There was no difference of opinion. There was no disrespect towards anybody. But now for the first time, the seeds of disrespect sowed in the heart of Dhritarashtra, because Vidura echoed with the voice of Satyavati that Dhritarashtra cannot be the king. Since then, Dhritarashtra started to develop ill feelings towards somewhat Vidura. Though he was minister, but his guidance was not taken always. seriously. The reason is, of course, in a way he was treated also, may not be explicitly stated, but he was treated as a son of a maid servant. The background reason that was mentioned in the previous verse, yesterday's verse, yesterday it was very nicely described by His Grace Radha Valla Prabhu, that previously in the past, there was a sage, Mandavya, who was performing austerities in the forest very sincerely, in order to become a great sage like Vasishtha, or in order to replace Vasishtha, just like Hiranyakashipu was performing austerities to replace Brahma, to become another Brahma and replace Brahma, similarly, the Mandavya Muni was performing austerities to replace Vasishtha, to become like a Brahmarshi, like a great sage like Vasishtha. So then, in order to stop him doing that, the whole scene is orchestrated that one day some thieves stole the important ornaments from the palace. They went into the forest. They kept all the ornaments in the ashram, in the kutir of Mandavya Muni, and they hid themselves somewhere nearby. The soldiers who followed after these thieves, they came to the ashram of Mandavya Muni, who was performing austerities in front of his ashram. They found all the jewelry in his ashram and also the thieves, and thinking that this sage is the leader of all these thieves. He is only a sage in name. He is only acting like a sage. They took all of them to the capital. They informed the king everything. The king gave a punishment, throwing them on a spear from the top so that they will die. So that punishment was executed. While punishment was being executed, the king came to know that among the thieves there is a sage. The king immediately comes and takes the sage out of that punishment area and begs forgiveness. By the time the sage had been punished thoroughly, he went through any heavy pain. Immediately he went to Yamaraj in order to understand why he was given this punishment. Then Yamaraj says that, so my dear sage, in the past, in your childhood, you have pierced an insect with the help of a kusha grass, cutting through from the middle of the body. As a result of that, you are given this punishment. Then Mandavya Muni becomes very, very, very angry. You think you are the knower of Dharma? You think you are the administrator of the entire universe? What do you understand that you can give any punishment to anybody? That innocent activity is done by an innocent child in my immaturity. How can you give a severe punishment for that innocent act? You are not fit to continue as Yamaraj. I curse you to become the son of a Shudra. Though you are sitting on the post of Yamaraj, you are acting like a Shudra without understanding what Dharma is all about. You take birth as son of a Shudra. So like that, Mandavya Muni curses. But Yamaraj is quite happy. If at all a person want to become a great sage like Vasishtha, first of all, they should control their anger. They should control their arrogance. And they should also tolerate the threefold miseries of the material world. This Mandavya Muni failed in all respects. And by cursing me, he lost all his piety. Whatever piety is accumulated by performing so many austerities for the entire lifetime has been nullified. So from that point of view, Yamaraj is happy. And another point of view is that he is busy with executing his duties from the very beginning of the Manvantara. He wanted to take some leave. And also, as a Mahajan, he wanted to establish a proper code of conduct. Here in Yamaloka, he is establishing that proper code of conduct only by punishing. But he wanted to establish it by proper code of conduct of a life of a great personality. So that person, Yamaraj, as a plea of the curse of Mandavya Rishi, appears as Vidura. The curse is for 100 years. It was clearly mentioned in the 15th verse. Yavad tadara shudratvam shapad varshashatam yamaha. The Yamaraj has to go through this shapa given by Mandavya Muni for 100 years. He should continue the life like that of a son of Shudra, mother. for 100 years. That has begun just now. The time when he was given the position as the minister of Hastinapur, and when Yudhishthira was not made the king, the seed of disrespect towards Vidura took birth in the heart of Dhritarashtra. The curse came into action. From now, for 100 years, Vidura in one way will be continuously disrespected by Dhritarashtra and his sons, his followers, supporters, etc. He was going through that curse period of 100 years from that point onwards. So eventually, later on, the Mahabharata goes on talking about so many things. All the way it culminates in Lord Krishna coming to Hastinapur as the peace messenger in order to settle the matter between the Kauravas and Pandavas so that the war can be stopped. When Krishna gives the information that Pandavas does not even want the entire Indraprastha, let them be given 5 villages, that is enough for them. Duryodhana outrightly says no way. More than that, what right do you have to come to Hastinapur? Since you have come to Hastinapur without invitation, I'll arrest you. Duryodhana tried to arrest Lord Krishna. But Lord Krishna, showing universal form, he leaves that place, telling that war is inevitable. And the result of the war is the destruction of the entire Kuru clan. Hearing those words, the entire night Dhritarashtra did not sleep. Because till now, somehow or other, he was keeping the Pandavas away from the Kauravas by conducting so many means, supporting Duryodhana in his all evil schemes. Though Vidura was constantly giving good guidance, Dhritarashtra always would hear as a pleasure-giving talk, but he would never implement it. Because since he had special affection toward Duryodhana, he would always listen to Duryodhana. Even Duryodhana brought one more person known as Kanika. Dhritarashtra heard Kanika and followed Kanika completely. Once only he heard from Kanika but followed it always. But he would hear regularly from Vidura but he would never follow. That's how he treated Vidura. So now, he understood that war is inevitable. His 100 sons are about to die. Out of fear, the next day morning, he called Vidura. He requested Vidura, please tell me what should be done so that the war can be avoided and my sons can be continued with life. Then Vidura says that, so my dear elder brother, you know that from the very beginning of their life, the Kauravas, headed by Duryodhana, trying to trouble the Pandavas, trying to usurp them, trying to kill them alive. So many evil schemes he planned. Eventually, he went to the state that insulting their wife, Draupadi. Arjuna and Bhima were very angrily breathing for the right opportunity so that they can kill your 100 sons. And they are supported by Lord Krishna. I'm sure that you are afraid of these 3 personalities. You are very much afraid of Arjuna, Bhima, and Lord Krishna, who is supporting the Pandavas. Only way you can be survived with your other sons is at least now abandon Duryodhana. Because Duryodhana is offense personified. Saeva dosha purushat vidaste grihan pravishto yam apatya matya. The very offense personified toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead has entered your house as your son. And you consider him as your life and soul, your everything. Unless until you send Duryodhana out of your palace, you cannot be happy. You cannot be survived with your other 99 sons. Please cast away Duryodhana immediately out of the home. Tajasu ashaivam kula kaushalaya. If at all you want well-being of your family, kula kaushala, ashaivam, please cast away this inauspicious Duryodhana. This was the advice given by Vidura and to Dhritarashtra. Duryodhana could not take those words. How can you speak those words? So Duryodhana becomes very angry. He says that Kaenam atropa jovaya jihmam dasya sutam. He says that who called this dasya suta, the son of a maid servant, Dasi Putra, onto this royal assembly, which is supposed to be seated by the Kshatriyas. This royal assembly is only meant for the Kshatriyas. There is no place for the sons of a Dasi. How dare he come to this royal assembly and suggest something like this? He does not deserve to be here, sitting in the royal assembly. And he says that one more important thing. Yed bali neva pushta tasmin pratipa parakritya aste. He was taken care by, he was nourished by us from the very childhood. But he is working for our enemies. Yed bali naiva, he is taken care by us, but parakritya, he works for the enemy camp. He does not deserve to remain here anymore. He is telling me to, he is telling you to abandon me. He is telling me to send me out of the kingdom. I tell you that you should be sent out of the kingdom. He does not deserve to stay anymore in the royal assembly. Then what to speak of royal assembly? He does not deserve to stay in the Hastinapur. What to speak of Hastinapur? He does not deserve to stay in the kingdom. He should be sent out of the kingdom with his very breath. He should not be allowed to take any of the royal opulences along with him, because everything is given by you and everything belongs to you. Something like that. But on the other hand, Vidura is thinking that, but when he heard these criticizing words of Duryodhana, the 100 years curse period of Mandava Rishi completed. That time Vidura became minister, and now when Duryodhana insulted in front of public, till now no one insulted Vidura publicly, but for the first time Duryodhana insulted him publicly. That is the last stroke of the curse given by Mandava Rishi. That curse is over. Now Vidura no need to continue as the son of Dasiputra. He understood it, and he also seen that this is how the Maya of the Supreme Lord works. Immediately, without being thrown out of the army of Dhritarashtra, Vidura himself gives up his throne, gives up his upper garment, keeps his bow, everything, gives up his position as the minister, everything he resigns. And he says, thank you, enough is enough. It is the way Lord's Maya is acting. Till now, my presence, somehow or other, you 100 Kauravas have been saved. Lord Krishna is himself acting through his Yogamaya potency that by keeping me away from you, he wants to kill you. So, I am going. I am done with my duties. As a result of the curse given by Mandava Muni, I have to be here like this. That is over. Now I don't have to continue anymore. Goodbye. He goes on pilgrimage. So it is said that Sa Nirgata Kaurava Punyalabda. By the auspicious presence of Vidura in the royal dynasty of the Kauravas have got Punya. By throwing Vidura out of the palace, the Kauravas lost their Punya. Now they don't deserve to live anymore. Their death is fast approaching. So Vidura, thinking that, so for the last 100 years, I was living in the midst of all these Asuric mentality people. My heart is so much contaminated. Let me purify. With that thought, he was going on pilgrimage from one holy place to other holy place, other holy place to other holy place. Like that, he traveled to many, many holy places, understanding that Kauravas were killed by the Pandavas. Yudhishthira Maharaj was ruling very nicely under one umbrella. The entire kingdom is faring well, etc., etc. He travels to all the different places. Eventually, after 36 years, he comes to Prabhas. As soon as he came to Prabhas, he heard the news that just now the Yadus have killed among themselves. They were died. Lord Balram, Lord Krishna also departed from this world. Hearing those unbearable news, Vidura, after visiting all the places, understanding that my stay on the surface of the earth is also ending, so before leaving, let me have the final darshan of Vrajabhumi, the sweet pastime places of Lord Krishna. He traveled to all the holy places but not gone to Vraja. So before leaving, he wanted to go to Vraja. He went to Vraja. That is where he met Uddhava. So even though he had heard about the departure of Krishna in Prabhas, he again asked Uddhava, my dear Uddhava, please tell me, how is Lord Krishna, how is Balram, how is Vasudeva, etc., etc. How are they faring well? So Uddhava says, what is the use of asking all about Yadavas? Lord Krishna departed, the auspicious personified for the entire world like sun. He disappeared. The entire world is overcome by the darkness. What is the need to speak about the Yadavas? No one is there. Everyone departed. So then, both Uddhava and Vidura discuss Krishna Katha for the entire night. And Uddhava says that even before departing from the surface of the earth, Lord Krishna gave me some special instructions about his transcendental position, etc., etc. Then Vidura asks Uddhava, please tell me what are those instructions, please tell me all other instructions that Krishna gave you. Then Uddhava says, if you want to know the general instructions of Lord Krishna, please go to Maitreya. He was also present along with me at Prabhas. Now I have a special mission to go to Badrikashram. So next morning, Uddhava goes to Badrikashram, and Vidura, after circumambulating all the pastime places in Vrindavan, he goes to Haridwar, where he meets Maitreya. And having gone there, Vidura makes so many inquiries unto Maitreya. Not many, but one important inquiry for the benefit of people in general. He says that, Sukaya karmani karoti loke nate sukam vanaya duparmamba vindeta bhuya tatayeva dukkam yadatra yuktam bhagavan vadenna. He says that the people in this world perform various activities for two things. In order to mitigate their distress, in order to increase their happiness. But unfortunately, every activity in this world simply increases their misery and does not promise or does not give any happiness. Instead of performing activities, they take up newer activities hoping to get more happiness. Please tell me what is the reason for this and what is the remedy for this. Then Maitreya says that, why are you asking me? You yourself know it. You don't need to ask me. Then Vidura says that, what I know is this much only. Janasya Krishnad Vimukasya Daivad Adharma Shilasya Sudukkitasya Anugrahayena Charanti Nunam Bhutani Bhavyani Janardanasya. What I know is that the people in this world turning their face away from the Supreme Lord, they take shelter of adharma. As a result of that, they get only misery. But Anugrahayena Charanti Nunam, in order to show compassion upon them, in order to give them good sense of understanding what to do, what not to do, the great souls wander on the surface of the earth. Bhutani Bhavyani Janardanasya Charanti Nunam. Then Maitreya says, yes, the great souls are walking on the surface of the earth. Please go to that great source like Vyasdev. Why have you come to me? Please go to Vyasdev. Vyasdev is one such great soul. Then Vidura says that, don't think like that. Tat sadhu varyadisha vartma shamna. You are also one such great soul. You can also impart the suitable knowledge which help the people of this world so that they can give up their attraction to adharma, they can become attracted to Bhagavad Dharma. Please talk about Bhagavad Dharma. Please talk about the wonderful activities of Supreme Lord, hearing which, following the footsteps of whom, the people can be freed from the clutches of adharma. Like that, many inquiries Vidura asks unto Maitreya. Then he says that, even though there are so many prescriptions from Vedic literature, like perform this yajna, perform that yajna, perform this tapasya, perform that tapasya, perform this vrata, perform that vrata, perform, give this charity, that charity. So many things are prescribed in the Vedic literature, but they are of not much use. Sarve vedescha yajnescha tapo danani chanaga. Even though a person might perform for the entire life the reading of the Vedas, sarve vedascha, performing the fire sacrifices, yajnascha, performing tapasya, giving charities and any other auspicious activities. Jivabhaya pradhanasya. In the matter of giving fearlessness to the living entities, conditioned souls in this material world, na kurviran kalamapi. All these activities does not become 1/16th of the surety that one gains in the association of great soul like you. The association of great souls like you is incomparable. Even though a person might perform yajna, dana, tapa, Vedic study, dharma for the entire life, but the association of a great devotee like you does not even comparable to that. So it is your duty to help us. So, in that section, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, before Maitreya begins to speak, he says one interesting thing. That is, Sri Sukha Uvacha, Saevam Bhagavan Prishta, Kshatta Kausharavo Muni, Pumsham Nisreya Tartena, Tam Aha Bahumanayan. Having heard the inquiries by Vidura, Maitreya, who is like Bhagavan, whose knowledge is like that of Supreme Lord, who is a great devotee, understood that Vidura is not asking all these inquiries for himself. He is asking all these inquiries for the deliverance of the people of Kali Yuga. Pumsham Nishreya Sartaya, for bringing the highest benefit of the people in general who are going to take birth in the world in the future. For their benefit, Vidura is asking all these inquiries. This is the conduct of a Mahajan. Mahajan either speaks personally for the benefit of others or acts in such a way that looking at his activities, the others will follow and perfect their life. Apana acharati Prabhu Sabashikaila. Or by approaching a bona fide spiritual master and asking suitable inquiries. The answer to those inquiries will be beneficial to the entire world. This is the conduct of a Mahajan. By such suitable inquiries, Vidura, who is none other than Yamaraj, established his position as a Mahajan. And the answers given by Maitreya Rishi in the 3rd canto and 4th canto of Bhagavatam will reveal what Bhagavad Dharma is all about, following which what one can attain. Dhruva Maharaj. Of course, in the 3rd canto itself we have examples of Swayambhuva Manu, Kardama Muni, Devahuti. 4th canto we have Dhruva, Prutu, and Prachina Barihi, Anga, and Prachetas. Like there are so many wonderful devotees have been described. So in that section, while hearing all these things, Vidura comes across 2 important personalities' life stories. One was King Anga, second was Prachina Barihi. Anga case is similar to that of Dhritarashtra. Anga had a nasty son, Vena, whom he tried to correct by all means. When he could not correct his son, Anga understood that it is Lord's desire. I cannot do anything more than this. Then, understanding that I cannot do anything more than this, he went to the forest in order to perfect his life, giving the destiny of the kingdom to the hands of the Supreme Lord. He immediately took on to Vanaprastha order, went to forest and perfect his life. And later on, there was another king, Prachina Barhi, who was so much attached to the kingdom, performing one yajna after another yajna for the prosperity of himself and his kingdom, etc. etc. Narada Muni personally comes. He says that, my dear king, prosperity is required. But in the name of prosperity, you don't have to perform so many yajnas. You don't have to kill so many animals as part of yajna. Don't overdo. Enough is enough, stop. The purpose of human life is not to perform yajna like this one after the other for the material benefit. Purpose of life is to practice Bhagavad Dharma immediately. Then he says that, okay, no problem, my dear sir, I understood. I will go to forest and practice Bhagavad Dharma as soon as my sons return. Currently they are in Gurukul studying. Then Narada Muni says that, don't wait. Time and tide waits for no one. Leave immediately. Your sons will come and take up the rule. Don't worry, nothing will happen to your kingdom. Leave immediately. Following the instructions of Narada Muni, Prachina Barhi immediately giving the responsibility of the kingdom to the ministers, he goes to the forest and perfects his life. Having heard these two examples, one is King Anga tried to correct his son, he failed, he left home and perfected his life. King Prachina Barhi was so much attached to kingdom, but hearing good instruction, he left kingdom and perfected his life. Dhritarashtra had both the things. He is attached to the kingdom and somehow he tried to correct his son, but not completely. But he is still attached to the kingdom, still there in the royal assembly only. Even though he asked so many other questions unto Maitreya, after hearing these two pastimes, he told Maitreya Muni, my dear sir, enough is enough. I have heard enough. I have an important duty. Before I conclude my stay on the surface of the earth, I have to deliver my elder brother, Dhritarashtra, who is like Prachina Barhi. I should take the role of Narada Muni. I have to deliver him immediately. He comes home. He comes to Hastinapur. That is when this chapter is being presented. When he comes to Hastinapur, Yudhishthira Maharaj, who had a lot of love and affection for Vidura, receives him very nicely, treats him like a devata, worships him nicely, gives him nice stay facilities, etc. etc. Then he inquires from him, where all you travel, what all you did, how did you maintain all these years, 36 long years, did you gone to Dwaraka, how are the Dwaraka Vasis, how are they, etc. etc. Vidura talks about his entire Tirtha Yatra, but not about the disappearance of Lord Krishna. Because, as it is mentioned in the today's verse, somehow or other, after long troubles, now at the end, Yudhishthira is faring well. Otherwise, his entire life is full of miseries. If I give the news of Lord Krishna's departure, again he will be into misery. I don't want to see that misery as long as I am here. So Vidura did not give the news of Lord Krishna's departure. Anyway, it will come to know. Eventually, if not today, tomorrow it will come. But today I will not give that news. So that is what is the context of the today's verse. And in the future chapter, just like Narada Muni spoke very harshly and very strongly to Prachina Barhi and developed a sense of detachment in the heart of Prachina Barhi, similarly, Vidura will speak very harshly to Dhritarashtra. Hearing which, for the first time, he develops a sense of detachment. Then he goes to forest, goes to Himalayas, and perfects his life. So, in this way, we can see that Vidura, who is none other than one of the 12 Mahajanas, Yamaraj, enacted by his personal life the lifestyle of a Mahajan, displayed the conduct of a Mahajan, taught the teachings of a Mahajan. So, Vidura, one of the 12 Mahajanas, none other than Yamaraj. Hare Krishna. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.